Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Katie Does Commentary. As always, I'm Katie, and wait a minute, we're doing something a little bit different, aren't we? So, I usually on this channel, I do full-length audio tracks where it's commentary. This is a little bit different. This is kind of me comparing films, various remakes. And I just thought, do something a little bit different. It's still commentary. It's still, I'm doing stuff. But yeah, so recently, because I've been, looking throughout Disney Plus, I saw that they had the very first adaptation of Freaky Friday. So the one with Jodie Foster and Barbara Harris from the year 1976. And if I'm not mistaken, it is a adaptation of a book, or am I confusing it with something else? I think it's an adaptation of a book. Yes, it is indeed. So it's a old book, and it was adapted for the first time in 1976. And these are all, by the way, the movies or the adaptations, they're all Disney. They're all Disney, so Disney's responsible for all of these. I realized that there was I think it was a television movie released in 1995, also called Freaky Friday, but I'm not really going to discuss that today. So yeah. What caught my eye initially was that the fact that I had never seen the original. I grew up with the one from 2003, starring Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan, of course, because that was my generation. People my age were most familiar, people that were born in the 1990s were most familiar with this one, I believe. And, I didn't know until about, a couple of months ago that they did another one on Disney Channel. And this one came out about 3 years ago. And I remember just judging by, and you shouldn't judge books by their cover, but I remember seeing the movie poster and immediately going, no. And then I remember reading that it was a musical and immediately said no again. And here's the thing. I love musicals, okay? I'm not one of those people that just I love all of them. I like really good musicals. I'm kind of you could probably say I'm a musical snob. I mean, I love The Wizard of Oz. I like, Chicago. I almost called it Chicago Cubs. I mean, just Chicago. I like plenty of movie musicals. I like plenty of, musicals, obviously on Broadway. But, judging by that it was made for Disney Channel and was made during this time, I was nervous. I was kind of like, I don't know if I'll ever watch this. And then I was like, what the hey? Because I watched the original adaptation of Freaky Friday from set 1976. I was like, I might as well watch 2018. And I have to be honest, most of this is going to be me, this, little discussion is going to be me being pissed at the 2018 version. And I'm sorry. Because there's just so much, it's like, there's so much why. Like, this movie's been made, prior to this 2018 version, it's been made 3 times. And the 1976 version was great. And so I guess we should start with me talking and discussing these films. So the 1976 version, I've only seen it once, and I enjoyed it very much so. I think the performances are great. I think that the humor is great. I legitimately was giggling and laughing, and so, if I'm doing it out loud versus, if I'm laughing out loud versus just sort of smiling, that's a good thing. And I thought Barbara Harris's performance in particular was very good. She was acting like a little teenager. That was pretty cool. I think her performance was probably my favorite, even though I like Jodie Foster. I thought Jodie Foster did a good job. I mean, it's Jodie fucking Foster. Of course she does a good job. And, you know, I thought that the humor was great. I thought that the story between, you know, like the two, the mom and the daughter, like also people need to know, like if you're not, if you're not familiar with Freaky Friday, it's the same plot, like throughout the entire thing. I'm not really going to talk about, I mean, maybe I can, if you don't know, but like, you know, it's about these, you know, mother and daughter. They're fighting, they're bickering, they're both very different, and they both, their souls switch bodies. And so they have to live, they're basically in each other's bodies, having to literally walk in their shoes, in each other's shoes for like 24 hours or something like that. So, and then they kind of, it ends with them having more, you know, understanding of each other, and they realize how much that they love one another and how much, you know, what the other has love for them. Does that make sense? Is that proper English? Probably not. Anyways, love, great, yes. Anyways, so yeah, the first one's very good, even though it can feel long at certain parts, but I really do appreciate the gags and the fact that they had quite the finale, let me just say. And I will touch on a little bit of like this, you know, the differences that they made in each, what's it called, adaptation. Obviously, I'm not talking about the 1995 version because I haven't seen it, but, you know, maybe I'll make a video or something about that later. But yeah, so this first one, the dad is actually in the picture, and he works a lot. So, and then the other versions, the mom is getting remarried and she has like a dead husband. And I think that's definitely proof of like the time period. Like in the 1970s, women were still, you know, really not very implemented in the workplace. And it was more common for, you know, couples to be together. So it makes sense that they would adjust it later on. I like the fact that in 2003 they adjust that, like, I mean, they say they address, sorry, that, you know, the dad, like, you know, people have, you know, families where it's like the dad, one parent passes away, and then, like, you know, a parent falls in love again and is going to marry that person. So that really added, you know, with the 2003 version, it really added an extra layer of tension between the two. So I feel like that's where it kind of improved upon the story. You know, this already pretty solid, interesting story and concept is that the fact that, you know, she's a teenager, you know, she's called Anna in this one. The first one, she's called Annabelle, so it's kind of like, oh, okay, they didn't really change that much. So Anna in the second one, Lindsay Lohan's character, the 2003 version I'm talking about now, you know, is already a teenager. I think she's like 15 or 16, and it's the same age as Jodie Foster's character. I think she's 15. Is she 15 or is she 13? I can't remember. I'll find out. But anyway, you know, you're already a teenager, you're already very angsty, and they made her like this punk rocker chick. Like, they always make Anna like a little bit different, whether they make her kind of like anti-establishment, they make the Anna character, you know, the daughter character, like the first one, Jodie Foster as a tomboy, and then they make Anna in the second one, so 2003 version, they make her like kind of being like a pop punk rocker, and then in the third one, she's just sort of, I don't know, she's just, I guess, kind of tomboy. I don't even know what I would use to describe her, but she's not, I don't know. I don't know. She's not like proper and everything. So, and the mom is almost always like, you know, like the neat one that like everything has its place and cooks and cleans and whatever. And obviously the direct opposite. That's why they switch and whatever. But it was interesting to have the added conflict of, oh shit, mom's getting married, and on top of it, me and mom don't get along because we don't relate to each other. The 2003 one is honestly, it's probably my favorite only because I grew up with it, but also too, like I said, like they added the added layer of conflict and tension of like, oh shit, mom's getting remarried. And even though the dad is the new dad or the stepdad to be is such a nice guy, it's still hard for children. And I like that they address that. And I like that each one at least is like it fits the era or the decade that it's in. This is so 2003, with the pop punk and the fashion and everything and the phones and the devices. So you're just like, okay, cool. And the fact that, America has changed, and so obviously like, they're going to like address the fact that like, you know, that parents unfortunately pass away or they split up and then they get remarried, and it sucks. So anyways, I like the 2003 version. It's classic, and it's my favorite only because I grew up with it, and yeah, but also too because of like I said, the original kind of goes on for too long, and the 2003 one, like really kind of, uh, you know, I'm familiar with that time period, but also too like the fact that the added tension and conflict really helped. And then you get to 2018. Holy shit. Um, I wrote some things down. Okay, so this one is different in the aspect that it's a musical. And Disney Channel, I don't really think produces, I mean, I haven't watched Disney Channel musicals, but just because you're Disney doesn't mean you have to make everything a musical. Just saying, just because you can doesn't mean you should. Disney, once again, apparently it's based off of, they apparently turned it into like an honest to God stage play musical, which it's like, why, we just need to, we already, the fact that they did this movie again when we already have the 2003 version with Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis, and that many rather young people are still aware of it and love it to this day. And it's like they thought, oh, another. Yes, another. And then on top of it, they didn't really give us a good musical. Like, the songs weren't good, really. Some of the choreography was just dumb. And it's like, this movie looked like it had a pretty good budget. It was shot so cinematically. And when you see the final product, it makes me think, I wish that efforts and money went into a different project that had a more solid story, or maybe like a more solid, I don't know, like idea, like something that's not a remake, something more original, because there's a lot of unproduced great scripts, and it's like you give me this, it's the worst out of all of them. I don't even need to see the 1995 version to know that is better than this version. That is how bad it is. Okay, so the whole musical aspect, I just know. And that's not to say, that plain narrative movies, non-musical movies, can't be made into phenomenal musicals, because they can, like Hairspray. I bet you a lot of you don't know that Hairspray was originally I think it was like the 1970s, maybe it was 1980s, just a regular, teen dance film released back in the day. Like, it wasn't a musical, but it translated so well as a musical, and I think it's even better in a musical form. And it makes sense that it does so well because it kind of already had like a music element to it. So, and the music is so good, and oh my gosh, it's great. And also Heathers is that 1980s dark comedy film. it did translate very well into a musical. Also, just like I feel like you need to have high drama. You need to have something in order to turn it into a very interesting musical. You know, like the songs need to be very meaningful. Not something where it's just a story about like, you know, a mom and a daughter and they swap bodies and then they, you know, are singing about like, oh, people don't understand. Oh, and you know, adults lie. It's just it didn't need to be a musical. Don't give me a musical if it's not top notch. Just don't. And I feel like the acting, like, for the most part, wasn't very well done. I feel like the lead, you know, the leading girl, that her name's Ellie, the daughter's name is Ellie in this one, short for Eleanor. Her name's Ellie. Anyways, I feel like she, especially in the beginning, wasn't that good. Like, her brother takes something from her and she's like chasing him and then like, but she's like, doesn't seem that angry. Like she should be like angrier, but she's not. Does that make any sense? It's kind of like a I'm acting right now sort of vibe, you dig? And some of the dialogue is very dumb too. It's like for instance, so the mom is getting remarried to this guy, and he's a very nice guy. I like his character fine. He's there, you know, like cool. His name I think is Emmett, and so he's all because this sweet man says that he cares about her little brother's bunny, which there's a little brother in every single one of these adaptations that I'm speaking of today. His name's Fletcher. And so Fletcher has a bunny and he does like a magic act with him and his name is Presto and he's like, "Oh, well, where's Presto? I can't find him." Whatever. And all because Emmett says, so this is her soon to be stepdad, says that he cares about the bunny in response to Ellie going, "No one cares about your stupid bunny." He goes, "I care." She tells him, "Stop acting like they're their dad. Like he's their dad. Like stop acting like you're our dad." And I'm like, how does that translate? It's like, dude, he's just saying I care about the bunny. Like, calm down. We get it, like you're the edgy teen, I don't give a shit. Meh. But like, okay, so the another one. So this is actually in a song. So there is a song that is sung by oh, what was the character's name? So Catherine is the mom in this one. And Catherine, so at this point, Ellie, the daughter, is in Catherine's body. And she's singing to Fletcher, so this guy thinks that it's his mom singing to him, or, you know, sharing this information with him. So she's singing a song about how parents lie. And there was a lyric where she sings, "They lie like a rug." Get the fuck out of here. Are you kidding me? They lie like a rug. Get it? Because you lie a rug down. Rugs lie on the floor or lay on the floor. Get the fuck out of here. Once again, do not give me a musical unless it's top notch. This pisses me off. This pisses me off. Okay, moving on. Okay. The song, there's a song, okay? So this is after, stay with me. This is after Ellie, so, sorry, Catherine, the mom, is in Ellie's body. They already switched. She's in biology class, okay? There is a boy that, has a crush on Ellie, and Ellie has a crush on him. But, keep in mind, so at this point in the movie, I can't remember the boy's name. But he's a nice boy. Anyways, so there's a boy in her biology class. Anyways, he's crushing hard on Ellie. There is such an inappropriate song. I think there's where she sings. I hated this. This was probably my least favorite scene in this whole entire dumpster fire of the movie because A, the choreography was horrible. I mean, I'm not a master at choreography, but oh my fuck. Oh my. So she sings a song, and in the lyrics, so keep in mind, it's about biology. So basically, in the lyrics, the mom, I mean, just look it up. Look it up for yourself. The mom is saying she's attracted. So keep in mind, the mom's in Ellie's body, is saying that she's attracted to a underage boy. But, judging by the lyrics, seemingly blames it on the fact that it's teen hormones and that it's biology, whatever the melody is. That's so, ugh. I mean, maybe, someone is a science major and they'll say, actually, that makes sense. Your soul, a middle-aged woman's soul is in a teenage girl's body. She wouldn't feel anything she shouldn't, but, like, the fact that they did that, are you kidding me? That is so inappropriate. And then, so, for instance, let me give you a for instance, let me just compare. So in the 2003 version, when Anna, so the daughter, is in Tess's body, the mom, she's kind of, her starting to hang out with Jake, and they kind of see, and he's kind of starts to flirt with her or whatever. Like, that makes sense because she's Anna in her mom's body. So, like, she's attracted to him. That makes sense. It's inappropriate, yes, because, like, they didn't actually do anything in the film. But, it would be inappropriate because he's underage and, whatever, but it makes sense. Like, they don't do anything, like, nasty, in the film. Actually, I think he does try and kiss her. Does he kiss her? Or no, he kisses... Yeah. Anyways. And then in the 1976 version, when Annabelle, so the daughter, is in the mom's body, I can't remember her name. What's her real name? Is in the mom's body. She hangs out with this guy that she really is attracted to and likes. They don't do anything, like when she's in the mom's body. They don't do anything naughty, because that would be, well, naughty. They just hang out, and he happens to really like her. But then, like, nothing, like I said, like, nothing gross happens, like, but, she spends time with him, and she has confidence because she's like, she thinks her mom's beautiful, and on all that, so, that made sense, but the fact that a grown-ass woman is like, basically singing about how she's attracted to this underage boy, no. A lot of the stuff that happens is just, like, common, like, stereotypes and tropes or whatever. Like, the bully, she's just a walking stereotype. It's so overdone. And, like, there's just overdone things like, like, where you pour your drink on someone, that's what the bully does. And where the bully calls Ellie, sorry, we're back to 2018, a loser all the time. A loser. And she's got her, like, little henchman, her friend, whatever, the bully friend, is like, get out of Stefano's way, make way. And she's overacts it. Like, and of course the mom of the bully is a fucking lawyer. It's like, what is it with these bullies and them getting away with everything? It's such a cop-out. It's such lazy, and now that I think of it, it's lazy writing where it's just like, give it to me because, oh, you don't want a fucking lawsuit on your hands. My dad's a lawyer. It's like, that's a cop-out. It's lazy. Give me something better. And it's so overdone. And the character is so overacted. It's It's like, I'm acting right now. We get it. You're the fucking bully. You're a fucking bitch. Whatever. Go leave me alone. And there was like a weird moment. So like in the last, I don't have a problem with people when movies address body image, like issues, like when you have like a theme, it's like, oh, like, like I don't like my body, like, but don't like throw it at me randomly, towards, like, they're doing this game called The Hunt, in the third act, and randomly, it seems, her two friends stop, and one of them is like it's out of nowhere, they're like, he says something about his body that he doesn't like, and the mom that's in the her daughter's body is like, oh, like, you guys are perfect, you guys are beautiful the way you are. And I'm just like, is this because it's a movie that involves swapping bodies? Is that why this is included in? Like, it was just out of nowhere. I don't know. I thought it was like, I hate it when it's so obvious. Like, they just throw it at you out of nowhere. It's like, yes, you can talk about body image issues, but why do you have to just throw it at me? Like, so randomly out of left field. I don't know. Thoughts on that? Let me know. Whatever. My favorite part about this film was the dog. Great Dane. It was a throwback to, his name is Boris, which is the name of the dog in 1976 version. That was also a cute dog. He was a Basset Hound in the 1976 version. So my favorite part was the dog, and also the bunny. Presto was pretty cool. And it was shot very well, pretty much. It was so cinematically done, and you're like, it's not gonna fool me into thinking it's not a turd. You can make something look so beautiful, but I feel like with all that cinematography was so wasted on such a turd of a movie. Like, you could tell it had like a pretty good budget, but like, why? Why you do this to me? Why you do this to me? I also just feel like, we're already, like, parts of, like, there's a part where she gets, like, I'll probably have, like, one last thing to say about that movie, where the mom, they have to go to this conference, and, like, she's, doing poorly in school, the daughter's doing poorly in school, and they reveal that she cuts class, and then, it's almost like it's swept under the rug of like, why do you cut class? And then it's just like, oh, they're fine. It's so odd. And just that whole scene of a grown-ass woman, her soul is in a teenage body and she's attracted to an underage boy. And then seemingly blaming it on the teenage hormones. Why? No. At least in the other movies, it's like, that made sense. And also, too, like, the grown-ass woman, the physical body of the grown woman didn't do anything gross with the children, It's... Why? Why? Nobody asked for this. Nobody asked for this. So I recommend, ladies and gentlemen, do not watch the 2018 version. Even if you like musicals, you're going to be so freaking... It's not Chicago. It's not Hairspray. It's not Oklahoma, if you like Oklahoma. It's nothing... Stephen Sondheim would never. It feels like it was a half-assed musical. It's like there were boring songs. Why? That's all I can say. Why? Watch the first two. You actually will get great performances. I feel like, the performances were okay in the 2018 version. I mean, I feel like there was a lot of overacting going on, but a couple of the characters were fine. It's just the writing was so much better in the first in those other two. Writing was so much better. For me personally, the 2003 version still will always win, and that's partially having to do with nostalgia. I guess we can talk about how they switched bodies. It's kind of interesting because, like, the first one, they just switched bodies because they wished so, and that it was Friday the 13th, so they just went. It was kind of cheesy, but it's like, hey, it's the 1970s. They don't really have a lot of special effects. And the second one was like weird, like Asian. They kind of go, oh, it's Asian voodoo. It's like it was a fortune cookie, which is, is offensive. It's just offensive, and it's just a fortune cookie. Interesting. And then in the most recent version, it was an hourglass. That the dad that is deceased now gave to them. An hourglass, which is interesting, like the time aspect, but they don't even address that. They don't even address what makes it like magical. The first one is just like, oh, Friday the 13th. It's very, the other two, I don't even think it was Friday the 13th, just a Friday. But, at least the second one had like a magic aspect. It's like, ooh, a fortune. But, I don't know, the third one, it was just like, oh, it's a fucking magical. It's like trying to convince me that there's magical objects and just like but everything else about the world is normal. It's just weird. And the fact that like the son, the brother, Fletcher, is like into magic, I don't know. It's just why? Anyways, that was a long time of me yammering, but yeah, I'll see you guys soon. And hopefully I won't be yelling and saying why. We'll have to watch a very finely made movie together. Yeah. Bye.